Special weather news. Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to our special weather forecast program. Over the next 7 days, the United States and the Atlantic Basin will enter a highly volatile period. With extreme meteorological phenomena unfolding both on land and at sea, a major storm system is developing across the central U.S., capable of triggering severe thunderstorms accompanied by damaging winds, large hail, and even tornadoes. At the same time, the risk of flash flooding and significant inundation will loom large over parts of the Midwest and Ohio Valley. Regions that have been grappling with drought. Out in the Atlantic, Hurricane Gabrielle has strengthened and is nearing Bermuda, projected to reach Category 3 major hurricane status before continuing north toward the Azores. Even more concerning, at least 2 additional tropical waves are trailing Gabrielle, with one of them potentially steering closer to the U.S. East Coast by the end of September. This is a complex, multi-layered weather picture that demands careful preparation from both residents and local authorities. In the past 24 hours, many U.S. states have already reported unusual weather events. In Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, prolonged heavy rains caused localized flooding on numerous roads. Meanwhile, in Texas, near the town of Sanger, about 60 kilometers from the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area, a violent hailstorm struck. Stones measuring 5 to 6 centimeters in diameter pelted the area, damaging rooftops, shattering car windshields, and destroying crops. Preliminary reports say dozens of homes suffered punctured roofs, and farmers lost a significant portion of their harvest. Images of golf ball-sized hailstones covering front yards underscored the severity of the outbreak. Across the Great Lakes region, rainfall totals reached 50 millimeters overnight. While inconvenient for commuters, the precipitation did bring some relief to areas suffering from weeks of drought. Meteorologists emphasize that the last 24 hours were only a prelude to a much larger outbreak. At the heart of this is a low-pressure system forming over the central U.S. as cold air plunges from the Rockies and collides with abundant Gulf of Mexico moisture. Conditions will become ideal for widespread severe thunderstorm development. From now through the weekend, this system will dominate, driving multiple days of severe weather. Forecasts indicate that tonight and tomorrow, Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, and Missouri will be hit the hardest. Dangerous thunderstorms are expected, bringing damaging winds, very large hail, and the possibility of tornadoes. By Wednesday, the threat zone expands into Tennessee, Kentucky, Mississippi, and Louisiana, where severe storms with damaging winds and isolated tornadoes could strike. On Thursday, the core of the system stalls near the Great Lakes, prolonging heavy rainfall before slowly weakening into the weekend. In short, much of the nation will face 4 to 5 consecutive days of extreme weather. Breaking this down by day reveals the danger more clearly. On Monday, 2 primary high-risk zones were identified. First, Nebraska, especially near Omaha, where the threat of large hail and damaging winds is significant. Second, a corridor stretching from Kansas into Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle. The Ohio Valley may also see scattered severe thunderstorms by late afternoon. While Iowa and Nebraska face the chance of isolated tornadoes, Tuesday is expected to be the most dangerous day of the week. Arkansas, Oklahoma, and northern Texas lie in the bullseye, with cities such as Little Rock, Fort Smith, and Rogers under heightened alerts. Here, large hail and damaging winds are the chief threats, but tornado potential will also rise, especially if skies clear in the morning, allowing the atmosphere to destabilize. Under the right conditions, Tuesday could see a regional tornado outbreak. By Wednesday, the severe risk shifts eastward to Tennessee, Kentucky, Mississippi, and Louisiana. On Thursday, as the system lingers over the Great Lakes, heavy rainfall dominates, though strong gusts remain possible in spots. By week's end, as storms diminish, flooding impacts will become the biggest concern, particularly in Arkansas, Kentucky, and southern Ohio, where rainfall totals may reach 150 millimeters within days. Flooding is indeed the most worrisome secondary hazard. With several days of persistent rain, the ground will be unable to absorb excess water, leading to widespread inundation. Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, and Tennessee are expected to receive 50 to 120 millimeters of rain, with localized amounts exceeding 150 millimeters. In southern Ohio, where dry, hardened soils cannot absorb rainfall, flash flooding could erupt suddenly. Residents in flood-prone valleys and along rivers and creeks should be especially vigilant, with evacuation plans ready if warnings are issued. While central and eastern U.S. brace for severe storms, the West Coast remains relatively quiet. However, Pacific moisture is beginning to spread into California and Oregon, hinting at rainfall later this week. South Florida, meanwhile, continues to see scattered downpours, with a 15% flash flood risk in Miami and Fort Lauderdale. In contrast, the Northeast stays locked in drought, with little to no rain in sight. Bad news for agriculture and the upcoming fall foliage season. Offshore in the Atlantic, Hurricane Gabrielle has become the main focus. Now at hurricane strength, it is projected to peak as a Category 3 major hurricane as it passes Bermuda. Although not expected to make direct landfall, outer rainbands and strong winds are already impacting the island, bringing high surf and dangerous storm surge. Gabrielle will then track northward toward the Azores in the coming days, gradually weakening afterward. Behind Gabrielle, two tropical waves are emerging. One could strengthen over warm waters and track toward the Bahamas, or even the U.S. East Coast, by late September. Forecast models remain split. Some push the system out to sea, while others suggest development closer to the southeast coast. Experts note that a combination of unfavorable factors is driving this heightened activity. The jet stream has re-energized, fueling severe weather across the U.S. heartland. Meanwhile, the Madden-Julian Oscillation, MJO, is transitioning into a favorable phase, increasing moisture and tropical cyclone potential in the Atlantic basin. Together, these dynamics explain why both land and sea are becoming so unstable simultaneously. In summary, the coming week poses a very complex weather scenario. A major storm system will trigger widespread severe weather across the U.S., peaking on Tuesday with Arkansas, Oklahoma, and northern Texas at highest risk. Flash flooding could follow in Arkansas, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Ohio. Offshore, Hurricane Gabrielle is intensifying near Bermuda and tracking toward the Azores, while two additional tropical waves may threaten the East Coast by month's end. Residents in high-risk regions must ensure they have multiple ways to receive emergency alerts, especially at night when storms often strike suddenly. Local authorities are urged to activate flood control measures and prioritize community safety. Thank you for watching this special weather news bulletin. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive the latest updates. We will continue providing daily coverage should tropical and severe weather conditions worsen in the days ahead.